What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk about the topic I want to call or why I keep five girls close to my heart. It's around five girls, and I think this is really like an interesting topic because, well, people sort of want to know, well, what are people gonna do when the artificial intelligence starts to do everything? Well, they're gonna be a big thing is gonna be like, and the AI is really gonna start to do everything, especially in tasks. And then it's like, okay, so what are humans going to do then? Well, there's gonna be a lot of people that sort of need to, like, well-being of humans. That's not something that's guaranteed just because we have artificial intelligence do a lot of the roles. From my perspective, from my way of looking at it, I sort of see it as, well, there is a lot of, let's say, a lot of craziness. A lot of craziness, yes. Or let's say a lot of behavior that looks maybe irresponsible, that is, that is sort of is annoying for me to like observe. And yeah, and it's really, it looks a lot irresponsible, a lot in how people using technology. So I'm trying to like see like what is actually how we actually should sort of try to move towards sort of using it. And it seems like this is going to be one of these roles. Like, one of the things that I did not like about like fame and so on, uh I don't like it how it like groups in a lot of people, where it's like, okay, you have one person and then you have all the other people that like consuming one person. I didn't like this like grouping in all people, almost like they're not like special individuals, and like just grouping them in into the same box. So for example, I have a big YouTube channel, and I can like, I can do a lot of videos there, but eventually you feel like you almost probably going to be able to do like better work by keeping, by having some people really close to your heart, and like really try to see how you can find that like inspiring, but also to sort of I do think that if you like really having sweet emotions towards people, and if everyone is sort of trying, like, what I think about humans is humans in a way, when they're having identity, maybe they are keeping one person close to their heart, but I think that people can probably amp it up to around five people, because it just takes a little bit more, a little bit more conscious effort perhaps, but I think that more people can do it, and I think that that really can help a lot in sort of keeping human well-being sort of up. So when I say close to my heart, it's like you really have like, you spend a lot of conscious energy to sort of consider what sort of other people are, their own feeling state and so on, and I really do think that that is sort of helping in many ways. um Even though it's like, human beings are human beings, none none of our actions are like perfect, and so on, but I do think it's like every person can only try to do their best, right? And sort of try to sort of explain stuff, and a lot of this stuff is like almost something that you can't really put in words, but I still want to put it in words because that is sort of how my feelings sort of felt today. And yeah, so the core thing is, I think that if more people have a lot, yeah, the way I sort of see it right now is, everyone is like, if they're keeping a person close to their heart, they're usually just one person, and it's almost like they put it a rule in in their mind. While I think more people can have around five people, and I really do think that that is helping a lot, because, well, Yeah, I really do think it helps. Of course, there probably, I wouldn't say there's a limit to this, but I do think that if you would have like massive, even more people than 5 people, it would almost become, let's say, fake, because you probably don't have the conscious effort, or use the time, where our time is limited. So having even more people than that probably would be kind of difficult. But it's kind of interesting to sort of do this, because what I sort of see when you keep a few people like really close to your heart, and you really see them grow, and I really do think that, like, you really see they are doing better and better and better from that. That's sort of what I've seen, and it's very interesting to see someone develop themselves into a better human being. And it's really interesting, this aspect of human beings and social media, where you start to sort of realize this, that if social media just keeps being on a very very surface layer, so no one is really trying to care a little bit deeper, then I don't really think any amazing stuff ever will be done. So it really takes a lot, like, uh, it really takes a lot for, like, if you keep it, people close to your heart, it really takes a lot of life, in many ways it does. In many ways it takes a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of it is something that you also, I wouldn't say that you really can analyze, like how it is actually helping, because people are sort of helping in different ways. And I really do think that everyone is really trying to do their best, and that is sort of, in some ways, is in some way working out. The universe is sort of working stuff out, even though, as I said, none of it is perfect. A lot of stuff in the short term looks like it becomes more chaotic, and people have sort of their own journeys that they need to go on. And yeah, it's really really interesting, because in many many ways, you see, if you really want to build up amazing people, sometimes they just have to go on their own journey, uh, and sometimes they really need a lot of support a very very long time before you see a human being really starting to come into something amazing. And a lot of times people, I think, want to simplify this super much, that we can build up amazing human being by not having a lot of time and effort being put on people that actually like deserve it. And I mean, that's also one of these like very interesting topics, is like, who yeah, I mean, even though we're moving towards some form of abundance, there's still going to be competitive aspects of it in some ways, because some people sort of like to compete and so on. And just because, yeah, some people just like the sort of the excitement of sort of competition and so on. And in some ways, I sort of feel that it sort of looks like people sort of competing against other people. But in many ways, if it's just like a consciousness in the world, like, in a way we have like individual identities and all this, but in a way it is consciousness working together with with itself in some aspects, which is sort of interesting. So I go a lot on emotional intelligence, and I really think that that is something that is a reality. And just because I don't really think you can analyze it, it is it's kind of mysterious how it works, and it should probably remain mysterious, because if we sort of knew exactly how it worked, we probably would sort of corrupt it. Well, if we don't know how it works, it can just flow very very natural, and humans cannot really corrupt that sort of process. And a lot of that mystery is probably just because there's a lot of energy here. Energy flows, and I'm not sure if feelings is energy, but it sort of seems as stuff is flowing in a certain way, and if a person sort of is in tune with their emotions, they can sort of see what is some kind of interesting action that sort of fit in with the time. So I wanted to do just a quick video on that. Like, maybe in the future, probably more people can have that as a job in some ways, keeping people close to your heart and like seeing how they like really having sweet emotions and seeing how they can like flower into maybe a new possibility, or maybe doing something bigger or better than what they currently are. But in some ways, when people are looking at that bigger and better, sometimes seems like they sort of forget about the human being, and that they just look at it from maybe a profit side perspective, or maybe they're just trying to, well, it's easy to sort of forget the human being if people just become logic based and so on. They can sort of miss out on, let's say, the mystery of life. And I have always this like mystery of life, I feel it every day, and it's kind of fascinating. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that it's going to be interesting. I think next couple of years people will be able to realize that they can have the identity. If they identify with, for example, with the cosmos or something, they can really start to see how they can sort of expand stuff, especially with video. And that's going to be interesting to see how that sort of can play out. So yeah, it's really nice to keep people close to your heart, and it's like seeing how they grow, having very, very sweet emotions, and have this very, very long-term aspect, and sort of see how things can develop over time. And that's like a that's a big hobby of mine. Yeah, have an awesome day.